It's probably cliche of me to say this, but I've never shared this story with anyone. The story that I'm about to tell you guys is something that I vowed to myself that I would only share with the world or with anyone in general once I was ready to share it. And for a long time, I never thought that I would be ready to share this story just because this is such a wild and crazy story. I know a lot of the time I say my stories are crazy, and they are crazy, but this one takes the cake. This is the story of how I turned my passion for psychedelics, for philosophy, for just helping other humans, not only into my full-time job, but into my life's purpose. The truth is, and it's kind of embarrassing to say this, but I would never have started YouTube if it wasn't for this one specific psychedelic trip that I had. This was the trip that quite literally made me start the channel. It's what made me start PsychedSubstance, which eventually led into this channel, Swim. This one trip, it changed me forever. Even that sounds cliche, but it's true. I've had a lot of trips, but this was the trip of all trips. This is the one that showed me what I really needed to see. This experience did show me what this reality really is, and at the same time it allowed me to understand how that knowledge I can never share. I can never directly transfer the knowledge that I learned from that trip to another human being unless they themselves have the exact same trip. It's almost like you realize that once you know the secret, there is nothing to share with anyone. There's nothing to say. I wish I could. I really wish I could. And it's not that I just can't find the words to articulate it. It's simply that it's one of those things that we like to call an ineffable experience, which just cannot be transferred via language. It must happen through experience. Anyway, so after this experience, I got a very strong message that I needed to start sharing what I knew with the world, which is what led me to filming my first video, which was LSD versus alcohol. Now, I uploaded that video when I was still living in New Zealand. And a month after that video went live is when I moved back from New Zealand to Canada. New Zealand is very expensive, so when I came home, I was very much so broke. So not only did I have the goal of starting a successful YouTube channel, but I also realized that I needed to work in the meantime. So I got myself a very shitty, laborious job because the hours worked. They were sporadic. It was anywhere from 20 to 30 hours a week, meaning that I wasn't using all of my energy up working. You also need to keep in mind that when you start a YouTube channel, as anyone watching who has started a YouTube channel would know, there is a big fat zero next to the guarantee as to whether or not you're going to be successful. It could all really just be a big waste of time. What happened next was we had only been back for 3 or 4 months, and for the first time in my life, I had direction. I knew what I wanted to spend my time doing. I had passion. And right when I was feeling like I could actually make doing these videos and sharing this information on YouTube work, I got hit with this. My girlfriend got pregnant. Now, before you guys give me shit that I could have prevented her from getting pregnant by, being more safe with sex, just hear me out for a second. This is actually part of the crazy story that I'm sharing. You see, my girlfriend was on the pill when she got pregnant. And not only that, and she was good with taking her pill, but she suffered from a condition to her ovaries, and doctors told her that there was a very slim chance that she'd ever have children. In fact, they said she probably would never have kids. So her getting pregnant was kind of the last thing on either of our minds. We just didn't think that it was physically possible. And yet it happened. I mean, talk about miracle babies. It happened. In fact, that's when my girlfriend gave me an ultimatum. She bluntly said to me, Adam, you have exactly 6 months to make something happen with doing this YouTube stuff. And if you don't make anything happen in 6 months, now what makes something happen translates into is I have 6 months to show her that it's making enough money to support us. Otherwise, her ultimatum was I had to find a better paying job with steady hours and, a traditional 9-to-5 job that could support the both of us. Now, if you've ever tried editing the type of videos I do and writing scripts and filming them, you would know that doing this alongside a 9-to-5 job and raising a new baby, and it would have put a giant kink in my plans. It would have slowed things down. Not to mention that the jobs that are available to someone like me are pretty shit. The pickings are slim. The best job that I ever worked was as a fitness trainer, and I guess I had a job in a bank if that counts, but that was overseas. The best job I worked in this country was as a fitness trainer, and I wasn't a very good fitness trainer. I was a fucking slacker. I was terrible at everything I did. I just couldn't hide how much I didn't want to be there, how much I hated working jobs that were of no interest to me, where the whole point of the job is just to make money. But anyway, this was it. She had given me 6 months to show her that my project that I was working on, that YouTube, was going to be able to support my new family. And surprisingly, instead of being scared at that moment, that's around the time that I realized this was going to work. I realized that fear of failure, that fear that it wasn't going to succeed, really had no place in my mind. And I remember reassuring my girlfriend that this was going to work, that she had nothing to worry about, that just watch, in 6 months' time, I am going to demonstrate to her that this has been successful enough to support our family. How did I know that without a doubt, even with the time limit, even with knowing that I had a new baby on the way, with all of this stress, how did I know that I was going to succeed and turn my passion into my reality? This is the part of the story where things get a little crazy. This is going to sound cheesy as fuck, but the truth is the truth is the truth. I can't psychoanalyze this. I can't rationalize this so that it makes logical sense to me or to any of you guys watching. This is simply what happened. I knew that I was going to succeed with YouTube, that I was going to succeed with sharing my message to the world, because that trip that I mentioned at the start of the story, that one wild trip, told me so. It told me that this was going to happen. I had blind faith that what I learned that day, that what I experienced, was going to lead me in the right direction. I mean, fuck, like, quite honestly, I didn't even feel like I had a choice in the matter. To be real with you guys, I felt like I had this invisible rope wrapped around me, and I was just being tugged by like this invisible horse, and it was just dragging me in the direction it wanted to take me. Like I couldn't even fight it. I was being forced to do this. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't 100% confident. I did have my doubts. I had lots of doubts. I really doubted that there would be enough people on the internet or on YouTube who cared about psychedelics enough for me to make a successful channel talking about them. I didn't see it possible. But I chose to ignore all these doubts and just to have some faith in what I felt was what I knew, what felt right. I knew that if I really poured my heart into my work, that I put my soul into this, that I was genuine and I showed people watching who I really am, I knew that there was a lot of people out there who were going to respect that and who could relate to me. I also had this very strong feeling that there was a large, loving community of people out there who were going to appreciate what I was attempting to do. They were going to appreciate my mission. The title of this video should actually be How We Made This Happen, because I wouldn't be here without any of you guys. The truth is, by the 6-month mark, by the time 6 months rolled around after she said, Adam, you have exactly 6 months to make this happen, it happened. Exactly 1 year after starting PsychedSubstance, I was receiving $1,000 in pledges on Patreon. A lot of those pledges were built up thanks to a lot of you beautiful human beings who are watching this video right now, and my heart goes out to you guys. Thank you so much, guys. I was also, at this time, not currently, but at this time, I was making anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 via YouTube ad revenue. Now, with the direction that YouTube has gone for the past year with me, basically, I don't think I'll ever see these numbers again. But at the time, it was exactly what I needed. Between Patreon and ad revenue, I was making enough money to support my family. As for the size of the channel at this time, now we're talking about PsychedSubstance. I started Swim afterwards. The size of PsychedSubstance was over 200,000 subscribers. Tell you guys this much, my girlfriend was shocked. She didn't believe it. And of course, I was overjoyed. I had made a dream I had come true. I had and still have an incredible amount of passion for sharing some of the lessons I've learned from my experiences, for helping people become safer with their substance use, for helping to destroy this ridiculous stigma that stops a lot of people from experiencing some very life-changing substances. That is what I'm passionate about. And I did something that I have never been able to do before in my life. I turned a passion I had into a reality. And something even more magical happened. Since starting PsychedSubstance, I have seen a surge of new psychedelic channels open up. I've seen more and more people being less afraid of putting their face behind using some of these substances which society seems to think are so bad but have the potential to change your life. They shook me out of my addictions. They made me look at my life from an objective viewpoint, from a viewpoint outside of my ego, and they allowed me to make the shift possible in order to be the person, or in order to continually try, or at least I'm getting closer to being the person that I want to be. These substances changed my life. It's interesting because in the beginning stages, when people tried to talk me out of it, when my girlfriend really had no confidence that I could do this, when I even didn't feel very confident in myself that I could do this, it just didn't matter. Like it didn't matter. It didn't matter what anyone said to me. Once I made that shift and I said to myself that this is going to happen. That's it. This is just going to happen. No ifs, ands, or buts. I'm making this happen. Once I made that shift, it didn't matter what anyone said to me, because that's how you succeed in life. You choose a goal and you put everything on the line until you succeed, until you make it happen. It doesn't matter how many times you fall, you get back up. That is how you make a change in your life. That is how you go for your dreams. You ignore everybody who tells you it's not going to work, and you trust your gut. Or, as far as this story in my case is concerned, I trusted a psychedelic experience that, in my opinion, kind of forced this onto me. Not a single day goes by, and I'm not bullshitting. I think about that experience every single day. I've thought about that trip every single day since it's happened. And if I ever find myself getting really sad and low and depressed, and hey, I'm human, it happens, I like to remind myself of that trip, of that experience. And it always makes me smile. It always makes me just kind of chuckle to myself and laugh at just how ridiculous this place is. As for me and the growth of PsychedSubstance and Swim, my journey is far, far from over. I mean, I've only been making videos about these topics for 2 years. That's it, 2 years. In my mind, I've just barely scratched the surface. Like, we're still in the beginning stages. I've really only just started. I am so excited to see where this is going to lead me. I am so excited to continue down this path. And I'm even more thrilled that I now have so many of you guys on my side. I don't feel like I'm alone doing this anymore. I feel like there's people here with me. And shit, the more the merrier. The more of us, the more people that share my mission, I believe that's going to help us succeed even faster. I think we have a very real chance at seeing some very real change in this world. And it all starts with just people talking. It starts with just opening up and being honest with your experiences and, not being afraid. I remember before I started the channel, I was very scared. I was very frightened to start this channel, coming, from especially someone who's parent. It's not comforting to know that you're attaching yourself to this type of controversial information. But I managed to put my insecurity and my fear aside and just do it anyway, because I realized that there's a bigger picture here. This is bigger than me. This goes beyond me and my puny insecurities. This movement like that we're seeing now, this psychedelic movement, could really help out this world, and this world is in a lot of need for help. I feel especially excited when I see some of the work that organizations like MAPS are doing, where finally these substances are being researched again. They've been on a research hiatus for like 20 or 30 years, and we're finally now seeing the conversation open back up about the potential that these substances have as medicinal tools, as healers, not as recreational things to have fun, but as a means to really help heal people and to help heal this world. Anyway, I don't want to drag on too long. I want to end things off by just giving another big thank you. Thank you, everybody, for your support. You guys all mean the world to me. I love all you guys. And yeah, I am super hyped to be on this ride with all of you.